Hello, welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you how to recreate the following text effect. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is jump into Adobe Illustrator and make an artboard. I'm using a squared artboard. And the second thing you want to do is grab your text tool, write out a cool phrase, and pick a cool font. In this case, I'm using Europa Bold. And go ahead and recenter or resize your text to your liking. Next thing you want to do is make some copies of your text layer. In this case, I'm holding the Option key to make a copy, and then I hit Command D to duplicate that action. And you want to make a few different copies and stack them on top of each other. Grab your text layer that's on top, make it a different color, and paste it in the front. Next, you want to grab your text layer at the very bottom and go up to Effect, Gaussian Blur, and mess around to your liking. Make sure you lock that layer in order to avoid messing with it again. Grab the layer above it and repeat the process, but this time the Gaussian blur should be less than the previous one. And you want to go ahead and repeat those steps with each text layer above it having less Gaussian blur. And go ahead and lock that layer, grab the layer above it. Again, go to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and this one should have less blur than the previous one. And you want to go ahead and lock that layer and repeat those steps a few more times. At this point, I'll go ahead and fast forward this. At this point, it's important to note that as we get closer to the layer on the top, which in my case is red, the amount of blur should decrease. In other words, the closer it is to the top, the more legible the text layer is. Now that we have all of our Gaussian effect applied, you want to unlock all of those layers and you want to select those layers and go ahead and group them. And now I'm applying the Gaussian blur to the group to increase the amount of blur. Now that we have applied the blur, you can grab your layer on top and color it black. Now I'm not really happy with the way it's coming out, so I'm going to take some of those layers in the top of my artboard and simply delete them. I'm going to grab the rest and I'm going to reposition them, and I am going to do what I otherwise would not advise to do, and that is grab those layers and stretch them out without holding shift or without keeping it proportional. Now a few more things to add here is go to Effect, go to Stylize, and go to Texture, and go ahead and add some grain. Now it's using the Photoshop plugin, which I think does a good job on raster effects. And your numbers may vary here, but go ahead and play around with this. And that looks really nice. Now let's add the finishing touch. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our shape tool, make a new layer, and make a shape roughly the same size as your artboard. I am actually going to resize it and make it just a little bit smaller. And I'm going up to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur, adding the blur effect and repositioning it to my liking. I'm also going to decrease the transparency, and there you have it. The effect is all done. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. See you next time.